Tonight, we have learned something powerful about America from sea to shining sea. This nation built on forward motion. Told 2.5 months ago by the White House task force, there is no option to save lives, but to stop, stay at home. In March, the nation's governors stand up to take charge as cases of the virus start doubling every week. Well over 200,000 people will be raced to the hospital.
I'm scared. I'm really scared.
124,000 schools shut down. 38 million people suddenly no paycheck. The nation locked in time. It's the moment at any movie when you wonder if the cavalry will come. And it did, and it was us.
I'm putting my life on the line every day.
As long as I'm healthy, we are going to keep going.
The American public is counting on us to get fruits and vegetables.
Workers at our power grids moved into control centers to make sure the lights stay on. In Mississippi, school cafeteria workers make 6,000 meals a day for their kids who are stuck at home.
We must feed the children.
In Alaska, this young man who owns the only grocery in town travels 14 hours by boat every week to bring food and supplies back to his isolated community. And in Texas, the school principal drives 800 miles to congratulate every one of his graduating seniors in person.
I get emotional real easy with my kids. It just seemed like the right thing to do.
And as we now know, the biggest battles will be for the big cities.
Everyone is pitching in.
Required to do something they have never done before. Tonight, because of what the cities did, 233,000 lives were saved. And it was only possible because of the 62 million essential workers holding all these cities and towns together. Disproportionately female and people of color, proving that courage is not what you talk about, it's what you do.
All right, good morning. About to get ready to get my bus started.
This is bus driver Eric Holtz of Detroit, who showed up every day, even though his best friend was a bus driver named Jason Hargrove. Hargrove was one of the first bus drivers to go public about the people who just didn't show respect.
But for you to get on the bus and cough, that lets me know that some folks don't care.
There he was, and then 2 weeks later, he had contracted the virus and died. He left behind a hashtag, "I cannot stay home. I'm on the road for you."
It's a hard day for me today. We will be doing the final arrangements for my best friend, Jason Hargrove.
Eric keeps going, some days working a double shift.
Hi, it's Diane.
Hi.
I dialed into him before his overnight.
Can you show me what it is to get on the bus and wipe things down?
This is what comes off the steering wheel.
Whoa. How many people are getting on the bus now without masks?
You just have that 15% that just don't want to wear the mask at all.
Even though the bus is taped off and passengers can now only get on the back half, a cough, a sneeze can travel. And Eric became a kind of virus detective. He fears that coughs or sneezes might be carried by the air conditioning draft straight to him.
So what I do is I do not run that ventilation system.
At the end of his long day, Eric takes his clothes off, making sure he washes them, afraid for his family. And he shows me the empty seat on his bus where he imagines his best friend Jason is still sitting and talking and watching over him.
And just again, be safe. If it's somebody you haven't talked to in a while, call them up. Tell them you just love them.
And in another part of this nation, there is a girl from a small town in Georgia who once came to New York City to become a rockette. There she is. But eventually she set aside her dancing shoes to become an ICU nurse, where precision teamwork is a matter of life and death. At one point, as many as 1,600 people a day were streaming through the hospital doors in New York City alone.
And it just feels like we're getting smacked and smacked and smacked, like we can't catch a break.
The COVID patients come in with such complicated sickness, she manages a forest of 9 IV tubes extended into the patient's room, dripping 2 sedatives, a paralytic, and 3 vasopressors to keep blood pressure up. Also an anticoagulant, IV fluid, and an antiarrhythmic drug because of a wildly dangerous heart rhythm.
This is what it takes to keep a critically ill COVID patient alive.
This ICU nurse wants Americans to remember that healthcare workers everywhere gave patients all they had.
What I do want families of these patients to know is that we are loving on them so hard.
And tonight she has a message of her own to everyone who's heading out thinking it's okay to defy the safety rules about social distancing, masks.
I think they're blowing it way out of proportion.
When you've seen someone agonally gasp for air while they have a breathing tube in, while they're connected to a ventilator, then tell me it's fake. Trust your frontline when we say, this is no joke.
I go out to catch up with her on the streets of New York. We notice how many people are not wearing masks. This is the first corner I've been on in this city where every single person was wearing a mask. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes,
it's so great.
you.
Thank you.
So are you bone tired?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll do it again tomorrow. And that's what we do.
The former dancer from Georgia gives me a graceful goodbye on the streets of New York as she heads off to her work of joy and pain, endurance and hope.
What gives me hope? It's 7 p.m. You guys, it's 7 p.m. and they're doing the thing. I don't know if you can hear it, but oh man, New York. New York.
And in towns and cities all across this country, as the cases kept mounting, local healthcare workers went to battle.
What happened?
They were really rough.
Our supplies are already dwindling.
Running out of ventilators.
Are stretched pretty thin.
If you're from Montgomery and you need an ICU bed, you're in trouble.
In New Hampshire, they put up a provisional tent in the snow.
See that little baby heater?
And as the months went by, we all watched something so clear about a divide in America. 55% of us got to stay home, had jobs and salaries. We got our deliveries at the door. But the lowest paid workers in this nation, often without medical coverage or sick leave, were showing up. They were scrubbing every inch of our grocery stores and taking risks. So many of them minorities. In New York City alone, the rate of death among Hispanics was 2/3 higher than whites. For African Americans, the death rate 100% higher. An ER doctor practicing for 20 years has never seen anything like this.
It's disheartening because all the patients look like me.
More than 70% of all the deaths.
80% are African American.
Those numbers take your breath away.
And yet a grocery worker like Jeff, who stocks the shelves at the supermarket, said he just wanted everyone to be happy and fed.
Miss all this pandemonium. Let me be the rainbow in your day.
But right now, Jeff is asking one thing. He's been seeing how easily rich people, celebrities get access to virus tests. They have the reassurance of finding out if someone near them is spreading the virus without symptoms. But workers like him are not given that privilege.
Thing is trying to get as many grocery workers tested, you know what I mean, so we can know if we have these. And I had a coworker ask me the other day, man, are we essential or are we sacrificial?
And because we define America as an action verb, what else should we be doing for these workers who've been so brave? Should there be bonuses? What about better health care and some job security? We've been told that 40% of the people who make under $40,000 have already lost their jobs. And then there are workers like Angel, who's worked all her life in fast food and cleaning as a home health aide. And this is her budget. At the end of the month, she's lucky to have $18 to spare. Her 3 children make their own hand sanitizer. They make their own masks. And she never wants them to be homeless like she was as a child after her mother died.
And I want my kids to have stability.
She says she's so grateful that in this moment, some cities and philanthropies decided to offer free childcare to essential workers. New York City alone has 172 facilities.
My dad is an airplane de-icer, a school bus driver. My mom's a police officer. My mom is a home nurse. I'm gonna be brave. I'm super mad about the social distancing, so I'm gonna try to let the coronavirus be over by washing your hands. Yeah!
And maybe in the years ahead, we will teach our children in a new way about the lives of the workers who never flagged, like the firefighters. I dropped in to thank them in New York.
Hello, America.
You're safe tonight.
Thank you. The EMT workers in West Liberty, Iowa.
We're heading out on a positive COVID call.
Who sat at close range to those who were sick and dying. The 100,000 people we lost in just 4 months. There can never be just one tribute to them all. But we remember a night at a hospital in New York City when a doctor decided to play music as a memorial to a fallen colleague. The ambulances continued to arrive, and her tribute became a kind of duet of violins and sirens.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.